What is up, Bears fans? You are very welcome to the Bears Huddle podcast, your UK take on all things Chicago Bears. Guys, we're going to do a bit of a news roundup this morning. We've got news of yesterday's injury report and how that is looking for the Bears ahead of the game with the Rams this weekend, where apparently they're going to hang 50 points on us, according to former QB Alex Smith. Yeah, whatever, Alex. Also, we've got news about Caleb Williams and why this guy is putting the fear of God into the rest of the NFL. And has a certain governor of Illinois finally realised that, you know what, you could be up for re-election very soon, and if you want to actually get re-elected and keep your job, you're going to have to actually start making some sensible decisions for a change. Governor J. Blob Pritzker has spoken about the stadium in Arlington Heights. Guys, I ain't a fan of his. Right, let's talk a little bit of the nicest looking injury report we've had all year going into this game. Now, we know that TJ Edwards and Ozzy Trapillo are done for the season. As a bigger loss as that is, obviously, Ozzy Trapillo been out. Look, it is a loss. I mean, Theo Benedette will be decent. Braxton Jones is trash. Let's face it, a shopping cart from one of the many supermarkets that you can attend would be more resistant to someone coming past it than Braxton Jones. But this is the injury report as it stands. So Nick McLeod did not practice with a groin injury. Look, I ain't that worried about Nick McLeod, especially with the news that CJ Gardner-Johnson is back. CJ Gardner-Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, Nashawn Wright, Jalen Johnson. I'm not so worried about Nick McLeod being out. Both DJ Moore and Rome Odunze were limited. I think this is very much a case of, kind of managing where they are with their recoveries, managing their injuries through to the end of the season to make sure that we get the very best out of them against the Rams on Sunday. So I ain't so worried about that limited participation from DJ and Rome Odunze. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who, is obviously the backup linebacker coming in, special teams guy, limited with a back injury. Again, I think that's very much precautionary. But great news to see CJ Gardner-Johnson back from concussion, full participant in practice. That is great news. I think having CJ Gardner-Johnson and Kyler Gordon for Dennis Allen on Sunday will make a huge difference. It gives him more chess pieces to play with. It gives him more opportunities to be creative in defense. So having him back will be massive. Braxton Jones was a full participant. Oh, well, never mind. Eamon Ogmenbiga, full participant. And Joe Tryon Shoyinka, also a full participant as well. So good news. And like I said, I think the only one there that will possibly miss out is Nick McLeod. But the three guys who are limited, I think they'll obviously trend towards playing on Sunday in the game. So that is not a massive worry and is good news. Obviously, be interested to see the injury report that comes out today. But overall, positive. Right, let's talk about our superstar quarterback, the franchise quarterback, the guy who is the future of the Chicago Bears, Mr. Caleb Williams. Look, Caleb is a clutch guy. He is the Iceman. When we need Caleb to come through, he always comes through. Well, nearly always, guys. There will be a time when he doesn't. Green Bay at Lambeau, for example. But on the whole, he comes through. He's 3-2 against the Packers. He is a guy that when the pressure is on, when the stress is on, he jumps up, he grasps it with both hands, and he shoves it down the opposition's throats. He is cold-blooded. He is cold-blooded Caleb. He really is. When we were 21-3 down at half-time against the Packers at the weekend, he didn't flinch. He didn't even worry. He came back from that and led the Bears to 28 points in the second half, 25 of those coming in the fourth quarter to take down those Green Bay Packers. Yeah, Green Bay sucks, guys. And cry more, Mr. Packers fans or Mrs. Packers fans. He talked about how he handles pressure. He talked about how pressure makes him a better player, in his opinion. And look, I think there's been elements of this throughout the season, to be honest with you. I think at times, Caleb actually plays better when he's under pressure. When he's got no pressure on him at all, he perhaps makes more mess-ups. Something he'll have to obviously work on and develop. But he talked about the fact that he isn't really fazed by anything, even when things perhaps aren't going his and the team's way. This is what he had to say. I feel calm in those moments. I feel that I am the best in those moments because of how I have prepared for those moments. So, he doesn't he's not worried. He's not stressed about being down. He's not stressed about having to drive the team down the field on a fourth quarter comeback drive. He doesn't bother him. He is Mr. Ice Cold. And, these qualities that he has, these talents that he has, his ability to escape, his ability to run, his speed, his arm strength, his ability to throw on the run, like that 4th and 8th play. He has got all the essential ingredients, along with the temperament now, it seems, and the mindset to go on to be a tier 1 quarterback. This guy really is the talent that we think he is. He has been clutch. He has been absolutely clutch. He's actually led comebacks in 7 games this season, which is absolutely very, very impressive. Also, what is even more impressive is when he faces a double-digit deficit in a game, the Bears are actually 3-3 when they are down by 10 or more with under 5 minutes left in the game, while the rest of the league, the other teams, have combined for 3 wins, the exact same. So, hey, you know what? There you go. That's impressive. And 2 of those wins were against the Packers when, the pressure was really on during those games. He is a top player. And it's sort of, I think, puts the fear of God into the opposition, doesn't it? Hearing that Caleb is very much like that he has that in his locker. Hopefully, he doesn't have to do that this weekend. Hopefully, we go into the 4th quarter not having to come back and we lead by a comfortable amount going against the Rams. I think it'll be close. I don't think it'll be the blowout that any team that the anti-Bears crowd are predicting. I don't think it'll be the blowout for the Bears. I think it will be a very tight game this coming weekend. Right, look, Arlington Heights, Gary, Indiana. Where do you want to go? Look, we all want to keep the Bears in Illinois. I think that is the biggest thing. Now, within the city limits of Chicago would be best, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So Arlington Heights, to me, is the best bet. One of the things I think that is quite clear is the Bears have never said that they want the state or the city to build them a stadium. That's been quite clear. Kevin Warren has said that. McCaskey said that. It's been clear that the team want to build and own their own stadium. It adds to the value of the team. It skyrockets the value of the team. So it's not a situation where we're asking the state of Illinois or the taxpayers to pay for a new stadium. Never been the case. Not even asked for that. So, what has been said? Somewhere and said, I think you might need to think this one through, mate. I think you might need to think this one through, buddy. I think you might need to actually help this team by building the infrastructure, by building the roads, by building the transport hubs, by building these buildings around this stadium. Might actually do your state some good and might actually get you a few extra votes. I think that is entirely a possibility. Man, well, look, it's good news, whatever. Let's hope that the Bears do break ground in Arlington Heights very soon and that stadium does get built in Arlington Heights in the state of Illinois. Because I'd much rather have the Bears in Illinois than in Gary, Indiana. Guys, let me know your thoughts on that one. Let me know your thoughts on all of the stories from this morning. Thank you for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, as always, here on the channel. And remember, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and bear down.